Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't be there today. Make sure you are on your best behavior. Today, we're going to talk about adding fractions that have unlike denominators. So, looking at my first two here, I have a half plus 3/5. I can't add them as they currently stand because their piece sizes are different. It's just like when we're adding numbers, we line them up so that the place values line up and we're adding the same place value to the same place value. When we're adding fractions, we also need to add same size pieces. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use all of that we practiced last week in order to come up with what is their least common denominator, and then changing both fractions so that they have that common denominator. To find a least common denominator, you list the multiples of both fractions. So the multiples, both fractions denominators, I should say. The multiples of 2 and the multiples of 5. So the first multiple is, of course, the number itself. Let's go up and do our 2's. We'll list several of them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And now let's go do some of our 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So I'm looking for something that they have in common. If I made a list and there was nothing in common, I would just simply extend my list. In this case, both of them have the number 10. So I'm going to change both fractions so that their denominator is 10. All right, to do that, I am going to multiply the 2 over here times 5. If I do that to the bottom, I have to also do it to the top to keep it an equivalent fraction. And I'm going to multiply the 5 times 2. And again, if I do that to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. Then I rewrite my fraction underneath. So 5 times 1 is 5, and 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 times 2 is 6, and 5 times 2 is 10. Now that I have a 10 in denominators on both sides, I can add because my pieces are the same size. They're both tenths. So 5 plus 6 is equal to 11 tenths. Now this is an improper fraction. We can leave the answer as an improper fraction. We do not need to turn it into a mixed number. Mixed numbers are not simplifying. Simplifying is simply asking, is there anything that both the top and bottom can be divided by? In this case, 11 and 10, there's nothing that both the top and bottom can be divided by, so this is in its simplest form as an improper fraction, and we can leave it that way as our answer. So this is our final answer. I would also accept, though, if you did turn it into a mixed number. In that case, 10 goes into 11 one time with 1 left over, so 1 and 1/10. It's okay for you to do that. I'm just telling you, you don't have to do that. And as we start dealing with more complex math, it is much more beneficial to look at it as an improper fraction than it is to look at it as a mixed number. So let's do another example problem. In this problem, I have thirds and sixths. So I need to find my least common multiple. I'm going to list multiples of 3 and 6. 3, 6. Oh, wait. 6. 6 is down here too. I don't have to even go any further. Both of these can be turned into 6. In fact, one of them already has a denominator of 6, which makes this such an easy problem because now I only need to change one fraction. So I'm going to write 1/6 underneath because it already has the denominator that I need. And then I'm going to change the other fraction so it has a denominator of 6. So to do that, I'm going to multiply times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And 3 times 2 is 6. Therefore, my new fraction, 2/3, has become 4/6. Now I can add. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5, 6. I can also do the same thing with subtraction. In this problem, I have 4/5 minus 1/3. So I'm going to think to myself, what are the multiples of 3 and the multiples of 5? So I got those by looking at both denominators, listing them, and now I'm going to list their multiples. So the multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And for 5, I've got 5, 10, 15. Oh, wait, 15. 15's up there, 15's down here. That works. So now I'm going to rewrite my fractions with a denominator of 15. To turn 5 into 15, I'm going to multiply times 3. If I do that on the bottom, I have to do it on the top. So I've got 12 15ths minus, to turn 3 into 15, I multiply times 5. So if I do it on the bottom, I have to do it on the top. So 1 times 5 is 5, and 3 times 5 is 15. Now I'm doing simply subtracting across the numerators because my denominator is going to stay the same. It's going to be 15. 12 minus 5 is 7. So there's my answer, 7/15. Can 7 and 15 both be divided by anything? Nope. So it is simplified. There's my answer, 7/15. This is going to be my last example for today. So in this example, I've got 6/8 minus a half. So again, my denominators are 8 and 2. I'm going to list the factors of 8 and 2. So let me put those down. 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, look at that. 8 and 8. That's wonderful. I don't have to change this one at all. It's already eighths. But I do need to change the second one, a half. So to change 2 into 8, I multiply times 4. And if you're not sure of that, you can always count your multiples and see where it was. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the fourth multiple, so I multiply times 4. All right, so 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 6 minus 4 is 2, and our denominator stays the same. It stays 8. I've got 2/8. Can I simplify this? Yes, I can. Both of these can be divided by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, and 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4. So my simplified answer is 1/4. Now you're going to practice these skills. Remember, you have to have a common denominator to add or subtract any fraction.